Hey there, thanks for joining. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the best tools to create internal how-to guides. Now, before we kick off, let me ask you a good question. And when is the last time that you actually used your internal documentation? Because for most teams, and I'm included, it's one of three things. Typically, the documentation is outdated, it's buried somewhere, or honestly, it just gets ignored. And it's not because teams don't care, it's because the way we've been documenting processes kind of sucks. Now, in this video today, I'm going to walk you through how teams are actually creating internal how-to guides in 2026, not just the tools, but how they hold up over time. Now, this is really important because I am generally the person in my organization that creates internal how-to guides, SOPs, training material, content, you name it. So I know all too well how painful the process can be, but also how easy it can be when you use the right tools. Now, we're going to take a look at a couple tools just today, and that also includes the types of tools that we're going to be covering. Things like wiki tools or knowledge bases. Now, typically these get avoided, and quite honestly, it's because they can be kind of bland, but they are a really vital part of multiple organizations. We're also going to be taking a look at some of these step capture tools as well as video tools. Now, today I'm going to walk through a real example so you can see where each one works and where it breaks. Now, let's make this practical. We need a document. For example, we need an SOP, a training guide, a how-to of any kind. Now, this is something that typically new hires need, people forget, and it does change constantly. So whatever tool you use, you need to handle things like speed, updates, and clarity. And let's start with the old default. Now, that's going to be jumping straight into our typical wiki tools. Now, here's one of the first, and Confluence gets a lot of hate, and I do understand it can be a little bit bland, and I think a lot of people think of Atlassian tools like Jira as kind of outdated, a bit clunky, and the interface feels a little bit boring. But let me tell you, it's one of my favorite tools, and I do feel a little bit biased because I actually secretly love Jira, and I really do love Confluence. Now, it does have its place, and not all organizations need something like Confluence. So let's have a look at this in a little bit more detail. Now, typically you'll see teams using things like Google Docs or Slab for this, and you go ahead and you create a page, you start writing steps and screenshots, and now if you've done this before, you know it takes way longer than expected, and it takes a lot of updating. So here's a good idea of the typical kinds of documents people go and create in Confluence. It covers a lot of different aspects like projects. Now, this is my space. I love projects. I'm a qualified PM. I love software. I love product management. I love it. So typically I'm going to lead towards tools like this. However, this doesn't suit every single organization. So this typically works well in technical organizations or those where you're looking at things like different policies, structured knowledge. So think about things like technical documentation, technical specs, long form content, all those kinds of things. It works really well. Also organizations that need things like databases and different spaces to create things and store them. Now, again, I like this because it is really structured, but it does break in specific areas, and that typically comes down to things like updating. Say, for example, one button changes. Now, you've got to go and replace all the screenshots. You've got to hope that you didn't miss anything. And over time, honestly, this just doesn't happen consistently, and it becomes outdated really, really quickly. Now, I know that it typically takes a long time to keep these things up to date, and it does take a lot of management and maintenance over time. Now, the other challenge with things like Confluence, and I'm going to take a look at different features that they've got here, is that people find it hard to adopt to tools like Confluence and Jira, for example, because it doesn't feel very engaging. So you've got very text-heavy documentation and information like this that is not suitable for all organizations and for all users. So that's a real issue typically. Even if it's perfect, it's still a very text-heavy, and most people would rather watch a 2-minute walkthrough than read 15 steps. I know because I've been there. Now, let's have a look at some of the other tools in this space, and this is one of the tools that I actually quite like. Now, Notion has been one of the the tools I've actually been using for a couple years, and it's taken a long time to win me over on this one. It kind of feels a little bit more modern than Confluence, but again, you're looking at very text-heavy pages. You're looking at a lot of updating things manually, but it has come a long way. So I will give it that, and I would recommend having a look at either Confluence or Notion if you are looking at documentation that needs to be structured. You need spaces, you need areas where different teams can access this information at any time. It's actually really great, and it's come a long way, and it has actually won me over. So I would recommend having a look at this. Now, I do want to say before we move off of these two is that both of these have a free trial available, both Confluence and Notion. So you can give them both a whirl. I would do this with any platform I would be looking at, is give it a good spin, because some of the user interfaces can be quite different from each other, especially between these two tools. I would recommend having a look at both of those. Now, moving on from these two typical wiki knowledge-based kind of platforms is looking at things like step capture tools. Now, Scribe is one of those that pops up quite often, and there are a few others in this space too, like Tango, Process Street, but they all follow a really similar idea. So having a look at these tools like this is really easy. You upload the browser extension, and you can click on various steps, hit record, go through the workflow once, and it auto generates things like screenshots, steps, instructions, and it's fast, like really fast. So if you're doing things like onboarding new hires, creating SOPs, etc., this is quite helpful, especially when you've got how-to guides on how to do something. It does do this really well. I will say it's one of the easier tools that I've used, and I have used this in comparison to similar tools like this, and it's really great. It's user-friendly. Overall, really a great tool to have a look at. Now, it works really typically well in things like SOPs, once-off documentation, getting something done really quickly, and you can kind of get an idea of the steps here that follows. Super easy, super quick. I do like it. Now, where it breaks, updates. If anything changes even slightly, you're often re-recording the whole thing, and that's where it does fall a bit short, because you do have to go through the process from start to finish all over again. So recording the whole thing doesn't give you a whole lot of flexibility when it does come to the tool, but overall a really strong contender if you do have a lot of step-by-step processes that you need to record. Another good thing, adoption-wise, it's better than text. It's still not amazing, but it can feel overly detailed, a little bit cluttered. But for the free plan, I would recommend giving this a spin, because I quite enjoyed using it, especially where I had quick how-to guides and I needed something free, something that worked with any web app, and something I could create shareable documents really quickly and really easily. Let's take a look at our video tools. Now, tools like Loom and in this category have exploded. So tools like Vidyard, Camtasia, also commonly used depending on how polished teams want to get. But if you're like me, you'll know that Loom has been around for quite some time, and for good reason. Honestly, it's really great. I've been using this for many years when video recording like this was kind of a new thing. Now, I think it's taken for granted because we've got so many options out there today, but this is one of the real OGs back in the day, and honestly, it was really cool. Works like a bomb. You hit record, you walk through your process, explain it, done, share with your team. I love this for asynchronous teams. Now, I work with global organizations, global teams. We are typically very async, and we sometimes need a quick walkthrough of how to share something, how to create something, and I don't have time to log on at 2 in the morning to explain it to a colleague. So I do a quick record, a quick explanation, a quick share, off I go, done. Works really well, especially in terms of clarity, speed, engagement, and people actually watch these. I do find it super easy. The engagement's really high typically on these. I think it's because it's short form video. We like it. It's super easy to follow. It's super accessible as well. Now, keep in mind, sometimes people don't follow text really easily. And with things like video tools, you've got that engagement already. It's accessible. People don't have to necessarily watch the whole thing. They can typically listen. But overall, really, really great, really easy to use, very lightweight. Now, where it breaks, maintenance. Now, if one thing changes, you're re-recording again. And over time, what happens is you end up with tons of these videos, no structure. I am a structure person, so for me, this is typically where I'm using it for not essential information. This is quick updates, quick share with my team, off I go. This is typically not videos I'm going to reuse tons and tons of time again. However, it may work really well for your organization. Again, really great in terms of pricing, and they do have a free plan, but I do want to mention that you are limited to 5-minute screen recordings. So it does make it a bit limited, and you probably have to upgrade to a paid plan to make it quite useful for your organization. Now, zooming out. Wikis are structured but slow. Step capture is really fast but rigid, and video is clear but hard to maintain. And this is why teams are starting to move towards something new, and that is AI-assisted video documentation. Now, let's think about our examples from the beginning: how to generate a monthly report, how to create an SOP or how-to guide. And this is where I use a tool like Guide. This is really foundational in terms of AI. So typically, instead of going through each of the various processes and just capturing steps, Guide's got you covered. Now, instead of recording a raw video, it actually structures the process for you. It generates clean visuals, adds an AI voiceover. So instead of a one-off video, you get something that it actually feels like a repeatable guide. And that is really powerful. Now, I've used this for various different things. I've even used this for external videos. So perhaps you are explaining something to a colleague and you need a really structured step-by-step guide. Typically, I use these, and I'm going to show you exactly how it works, is where I've got a software that I am teaching a colleague or showing them how to use something. I would typically go and create a new guide from scratch, start the capture process in my browser, click, 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 and it creates a beautiful video for me with captions, with a script, all generated. It includes screenshots, callouts, everything. And it generates this for me, so I don't have to go back and actually write each part of the process from start to finish. And that is so powerful, because especially when you have workflow heavy instructions that really do follow a sequential step, this can take hours. I've been there. It takes forever to edit typically and make sure the scripting is perfect. This does all of this for you. I also like this because if you've got people in your team that are not comfortable to talk, they want to use a voiceover, you've got this covered with background music, AI voiceovers, and just really engaging content. So a good level of editing is allowed within the tool, which I really liked as well. Now, this is really great. You get all the clarity of video, you get the ease of following along, but in a format that's designed specifically for documentation and not just communication. It's easily shareable as well. You can actually download the documents or the videos, share within an embedded link, share within team chat, wherever, and I found it really useful overall. Now, if you're still deciding on what to use, tools like Confluence and Notion are really great for structured knowledge. Tools like Scribe or Tango, great for quick documentation, and tools like Loom or Vidyard are great for communication. But if you're trying to build something that really scales, stays updated, and actually gets used, that's where tools like Guide really stand out. And I would recommend giving them a look as well. They've also got a free trial available so that you can really get your hands dirty and understand the inner workings of the tool and how easy it is to use. You don't need advanced upskilling to use a tool like this, which is actually what I expected when I started using the tool. And it's super easy to use. So that is another plus when you are trying out tools like this. I would recommend giving it a shot and deciding which is best for you. Now, I do want to say sometimes it's not a question of which is best, but which is best for your use case. And that is really important. Consider what you're needing from a tool. And perhaps like me, you're going to use a combination of tools. Sometimes I record videos and create content, but store it in a repository like Notion or Confluence. And this can be a really powerful combination that gives you a bit of structure as well as long-lasting content that is absolutely useful and engaging. Thanks so much for joining today.